Speaking of queerlesque, and we've just watched that on this video, where did that come from? What was your vision, and why that name and the history behind it?
Queerlesque was a mixture of queer and burlesque.
Right.
Because burlesque is all of a sudden becoming very popular. And it was like riding on that sort of the popular thing. So it was like, what I wanted to do was put a show that was set in a theatre that was almost like in a time bubble, but could cover a whole time period on the drag scene, because I wanted to pay tribute to a lot of my heroes and my influences. My favourites and the most influential people of like the late 70s was the Blue Lips group, and they had a very distinct look, which was like this white cake clown face.
Which are in Queerlesque, you brought them to life.
I brought them in there, so that's why I brought them in there. Blue Lips, as individuals, they brought their own costume, and they was like any bits of tat. You know, they would find something in a second-hand shop and they just change it into this strange outfit.
Right.
And so that's why I created the Blue Lips characters, and I made them the band that sort of floats through, and also like the stage hands and the funny clowns. So they were the complete opposite to, if you like, the glamorous drag queens that we had as sort of like the Cargels. So you had the two different defining types of drag queens.
Get back on! Get back on! Zaza's still in her room! You gotta give him an encore!
I wanted to show, I suppose, that sort of backstage life
Zaza is overtime.
that, you know, performers have, whether they were a drag queen or not. And I just got this fascination that the audience quite like seeing them in the dressing room, you know, having that conversation, and then all of a sudden they go onto stage and become this amazing different character. And that's why I did that whole scene with Reg.
Oh, Jesus H. Christ, I'm dying for a wee. Hurry up, Iris, you going to be in there all night? Get up the bog, you dirty bitch!
And then all of a sudden she goes off and she comes out and does Marlena. You know, and then goes in and she's a drunken lush later on. It was just like linking the audience with, you know, the fact that performers are very funny when they're not performing, but they also can be very sad, you know, hence the sort of last song, What Makes a Man. That again was a twist and playing a different homage. You had the drag queen taking off the makeup, and then you had Lee Bowery and you had Boy George, which were like what I call the drag freaks that came out in the 80s, the start of the clubbing drag era, when people used to dress up and do outrageous things on the club scene, which was like taking the drag scene into the clubs, which is where that all stemmed from, really. Some of the musical numbers I put in there are attributed to groups like the Harley Queens and the Disappointer Sisters, Lily Savage, Regina. Bosom Buddies was the Harley Queens. Manamana, that's Lily Savage.
Manamana.
Disappointers was the Gotta Have a Gimmick.
So get yourself a gimmick, and you too!
Some of those numbers hadn't, I don't think, been seen for quite a while. Putting Lindsay Kemp in there, that was just a personal touch of mine. Just wanted to use him with a tributing to the drag queen, so that's why he was handing out the roses and things like that. I like mixing up different times and bringing them in together. I wanted to lead it round to the point where, like, the audience had forgotten that, you know, where they were, and all of a sudden stick them back in 1969, the day that Judy Garland died, and the police raiding one of our gay clubs, and just confronting them with that, and then reminding them that's where the gay pride and the gay movement basically came from. And to be able to do that in Gay Pride Week, I mean, that was just amazing. So that they made that all very special.